Our speaker this morning is Wava Osborne, and she did not give me a little bio, but I will say that since I've been active in this community, this church, Wava has been a force for good, and she disappeared for a while, moved away, and there was a gap, and then she returned, and it's great to have you back. Wava, your topic.
Thank you, David. Hey, the money is courtesy of Mary Andrews. She bought this several years ago, and she said, please put this up and remember me on Flower Communion. Mary is in an assisted living facility now down in Bristol. But some of the flowers, I went to her yard yesterday, and some of the flowers that are on the table out front in the vase are from Mary. So she sends her blessings and well wishes to everyone. A couple of weeks ago, Jane Hill called me and she said, Wava, she said, I hate to tell you this, but I am not going to be able to speak on the 1st of April. And, here we are 2 weeks out, and I like to get the schedule set so we know way down the road who's going to be doing what. And every now and again, somebody will throw me a little curve, and I know I can depend on Bob Hill. Of course, if Jane's out of town, likely that Bob's going to be out too, so there you go. And I know I can depend on Harry in a pinch to speak, because he always has something interesting to say. And, of course, Harry spoke last weekend, so I didn't think it was a good thing for him to have to worry about 2 Sundays in a row, although I'm sure he would have been just fine with it. So I thought, Jane, don't worry. Go have a good time. Enjoy what you were doing. And I thought, okay, now what? And I had just read the book Radical Inclusion by General Martin Dempsey and Ori Brafman. I had seen an interview with them one morning on MSNBC talking about the book that had just been released. So I ordered it, read it, and so this morning I'm going to share with you some notes and thoughts from Radical Inclusion because it just really ties in with our flower communion and with our connectedness. General Dempsey is the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under President Barack Obama and recently retired after 41 years in the Army. He currently teaches public policy and leadership at Duke University. Brafman is a New York Times best-selling author and researcher. He's the author of The Starfish and the Spider, among many other books, and is currently a distinguished teaching fellow at UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business. Whether it's being a member of a family, attending a school, or serving our country, belonging to a community or a cause bigger than ourselves is core to our very humanity in 3 specific ways. Belonging shapes our identity. Belonging provides our sense of security, and it creates the order we need to survive. We develop our identity based on the communities that we join. For example, I'm a mom, I'm an American, I'm an accountant, I'm a Unitarian, I'm retired, I'm a volunteer, among other things. So we're all part of communities. Being part of a community, in turn, provides us with security. Being part of a community means that there are others who are committed to our success. In being part of a community, we can expect our fellow members to abide by certain rules, making our day-to-day existence predictable and thus productive. In 1770, John Adams declared that facts are stubborn things. Well, today facts are vulnerable. Emerging technology is making facts increasingly vulnerable, and all of us will soon have trouble discerning what is actually true. We are about to enter an age where facts will no longer be reliable. Even our best attempts to find the truth may fall short. What will the world look like when, to gain understanding of the reality around us, there is no longer a debate of facts, but rather a competition of narratives? As competing narratives vie to present a picture of the world, we will have a harder time determining what's real and what's accurate. You now have entered the era of the digital echo, where information passes from individual to individual more quickly, but in the process often becomes distorted. Digital echo is a neutral force. It can inform, misinform, educate, entertain, inspire the human spirit to acts of compassion and goodness, or unleash mankind's darkest instincts. In this brave new world, we will need to leverage inclusion to gain better information about the world around us and to effectively communicate our message better. In building a business or a community, it's essential that its members have a sense of belonging. And if you don't provide it, someone else will. We all want to believe that we make a difference and that our contributions matter. As complex issues multiply, as uncertainty increases, as technology exponentially changes and the risks rise, the digital echo spreads. It is the belief of Dempsey and Brofman that concentrations of power and exclusivity will continue to form, but cannot endure in a world that sees all, a world in which technology levels all, at an alarmingly fast-paced world with its rising expectations, glaring disparities, and declining trust. The naysayers and the climate change deniers may actually be rational in their point of view. What are their favorite publications saying? What are the people they trust on social media and the news outlets saying? A rational, albeit debatable, conclusion is being reached based on data in front of them and from the so-called wisdom of the crowd. Not only are the naysayers finding the data compelling, but are verifying it via a statistically established methodology and may not be aware that the crowd whose wisdom is being tapped may be decidedly biased. This is information that originated from unreliable sources, but was quickly retweeted, reposted, and repeated to the point where it appears legitimate. Despite best efforts, there will be times when truth cannot reliably be distinguished from fiction. In the absence of verifiable truth, competing narratives will vie for allegiance. Narratives are derivatives of the truth, not the pure version of it. Narratives don't have to be scientifically on point. They just need to have a compelling plot. Facts depend on expert validation to persist, while narratives simply need to be retold. A narrative battle is won by drowning out the counter message. Fake news. Since the 1940s, a sense of belonging has been recognized as a human psychological need, and one of the major sources of human motivation. It's important to us, whether we're conscious of it or not. A sense of belonging keeps us healthy and happy. Belongingness developed to serve an evolutionary need. Those who form mutual attachments to others enjoyed the safety of numbers, and were less likely to wander off and get into danger. As social beings, we protected one another. We shared resources and collaborated to gain advantage over other species, including our hominoid neighbors like the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. There are multiple reasons why people may feel connected. You feel that your efforts on behalf of the group are meaningful. You imagine how your contribution will have a meaningful impact. You receive feedback about the impact you've had. You have positive memories associated with belonging to the group. And you engage within a context whereby you are part of the overall group. In the 1980s, researchers began studying belonging and have unequivocally come to the realization that it is, in fact, a need. Without it, humans suffer both mentally and physically. We think isolation, we think bullying, we think school shootings, we think the bad things that we're seeing happen because of isolation. A meta-analysis of 148 studies with over 308,000 participants aged 6 to 92 from all over the world demonstrated that social exclusion is more harmful to us than obesity, physical inactivity, and binge drinking. The only comparable health hazard was smoking. When we experience social exclusion, we perceive our lives as less meaningful. Being excluded by our families, close friends, and romantic partners has the greatest effect on us. A sense of belonging is positively correlated with the perceived meaningfulness of life, and this was true across all age groups. In the past, our network connections were limited to those within our immediate geographic area. Today, with the internet, people are able to create and find networks across the globe. We think ISIS. Simply by participating in social media network, an individual has the ability to start a movement, become a leader, and gain a following. And we think the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School students and the Me Too movement. The human desire to belong holds a key to understanding how to lead in our current environment. As we discover a sense of belonging to a team, an organization, a cause, or a community, we find that our goals are in line with those of the group and the other members of our organization. Feeling that we matter to our organization and are safe within it reaffirms and strengthens our sense of belonging. When people feel they belong, they engage more. Belonging helps us achieve understanding and the feeling that we understand those around us and they understand us. Belonging strengthens the positive bonds among the members of the team and enhances our feelings of self-worth. Belonging has relevance not only for individual well-being, but also for the organization. When we belong, we tend to adopt attitudes and behaviors of those around us. And I see it here. Here, we feel safe. We feel safe in sharing our personal stories. We share our joys and concerns. We share from the heart, and we listen from the heart. We must create environments where individuals feel they are the first among equals. We must commit to ensure that people feel a sense of belonging in our organization. Most everyone wants to feel like they are part of something meaningful. People like to know they matter. Each of us should recognize that our life can and should matter. Each of us should embrace the fact that we can make a difference, sometimes large, but more often than not in small ways, so that the sum total of our lives ultimately matters. The more technology connects us, the further we grow apart, and the more we highlight our differences and ignore our similarities. Under the influence of digital echoes, we are becoming more isolated, more suspicious, less positive, and less optimistic. This is affecting the way that we interact with one another in government, in the workplace, domestically, and globally. We must learn to think differently about inclusion. Now I ask you, what is the one thing that's most important to you? What do you love to do more than anything else? Now how can you use this to make a difference not only in your life, but also in the life of someone else? It doesn't have to be a big thing. If you grow flowers, share them. If you hunt and fish, share your bounty. If you paint, teach someone else. If you read and love to volunteer or love the arts, William King, the Arts Depot, there's so many opportunities for volunteering where you can make a difference. Get outside yourself. Be a good listener. Share knowledge and build trust. We must cultivate an environment of inclusiveness within our teams, within our organizations, within our communities and our countries. Learn from one another and become radically inclusive. Thank you.